It is Tuesday. It is the 11th of March. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Making news today. With each day that passes without any answers, the agony of families of passengers and crew aboard Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 is palpable. But after days of false leads, investigators have answered one question about the Malaysia Airlines plane that vanished without a trace on Saturday. They have now identified two passengers who boarded Flight 370 with stolen passports. One is a 19-year-old Iranian who was trying to emigrate to Germany. The other is also a young Iranian man. The airline also said today that 4 other passengers did not show up for the flight, even though they had tickets. Well, Interpol officials spoke just moments ago about the stolen passports. Senior international correspondent Nick Robertson has more on that now from London. Nick?
Now, Monita, what they were able to do was give us the name of the second Iranian man who they say was born in 1984. That would make
Yeah, indeed. All right, Nick, thank you very much for that. Nick Robertson there live for us from London. In that news conference, the Interpol did say that the focus should be now on the search for this aircraft, which does continue. My colleague Jim Clancy sat down with the Malaysia Airlines CEO, and he asked him if he's getting discouraged.
Every day that we don't have an answer, we are more resolved to get to the answer.
Well, planes and ships from nearly a dozen nations are scouring the ocean. The search has now expanded into the Straits of Malacca off the west coast of the Malaysian peninsula. It also extends into the deep waters of the Andaman Sea. Well, CNN's Simon Mosen was on one of the search planes looking for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. She joins us now from Malaysia's capital. Simon, it has been described as searching for a needle in a huge haystack.
Absolutely, Monita. If you can just imagine the vast expanse of seas and ocean that they have.
It's a heavy task that they have on their shoulders right now. Simon, thank you very much for that. Simon Mosen there live for us from Kuala Lumpur. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. I'm Monita Rajpal. Let's bring you up to date on some of the other stories that we are following for you here at CNN News Center. One of Oscar Pistorius' friends has taken the stand at his murder trial in South Africa. That's after the court heard more testimony from the pathologist who carried out Reeva Steenkamp's autopsy. The model was shot dead by the Olympic athlete on Valentine's Day last year. He has pleaded not guilty to murder. The pathologist said Steenkamp could have screamed after being shot, something that's been questioned during the trial. Video and audio streaming of that testimony were blacked out because the details were so graphic. Pistorius himself was sick in court on Monday. A Libyan minister says government forces have seized control of a North Korean flagged tanker. The ship had loaded up with oil in a rebel-controlled port. The officials said the government raided the tanker from speedboats as it left port on Monday. The rebels insist that they still control the tanker, which they say is still docked at port. Japan is also marking a somber anniversary today. Japan's emperor attended a memorial service marking 3 years since the earthquake and tsunami that triggered the Fukushima nuclear crisis. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe also paid tribute. Japan is still struggling to clean up the Fukushima power plant, and thousands of survivors have yet to return home. New Zealanders are being given the chance to update the look of their country's flag. The current design dates back more than 100 years, and as you can see, still prominently features the British Union Jack. Prime Minister John Key says that symbolizes an era that's now past, and he's invited people to submit new designs or suggestions to reflect the modern Kiwi nation. I am still the rightful president of Ukraine. That is what Viktor Yanukovych told the world just over an hour ago. Speaking from Russia, the ousted leader said he is ready to return to Kiev soon. Mr. Yanukovych called Ukraine's interim government illegitimate. And Fred Pleitkin is in the Russian capital, Moscow. He joins us now live. And Fred, so Mr. Yanukovych is saying that he is the legitimate leader of Ukraine, although he was speaking from Russia. And he says he is the leader of the armed forces. So who are the armed forces listening to right now?
Well, it certainly doesn't appear as though they're listening to him. It seems as though the armed forces in Ukraine, by and
All right,
large,
Fred, thank you very much for that. Fred Pleiken there live for us from Moscow. Pro-Russian rallies, though, are being held in Ukraine as pro-Russian forces tighten their grip on Crimea. Just days before the referendum on whether the province should leave Ukraine, armed men took over another military installation on Monday. CNN's Nick Payton-Walsh visited the base before and after the takeover.
This is the new face of power at one military base.
You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. We'll be right back. Stay with us. You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. It has been a challenging winter for many in Western Europe, particularly in the British Isles, but it seems as though, Mar11, spring is in the air.
That's right. You know what? It was a pretty nice weekend, a pretty nice end to the week, a pretty nice weekend, and we're starting off the week with some pretty nice weather across much of Western and Central Europe even. Back to you.
Brave souls indeed. Mari, thank you very much for that. Before we go, we've got some developing situation out of Ukraine now. That Simferopol Airport is saying a Ukraine International Airlines flight from Kiev has been turned away. CNN's Donna Magny joins us now live from Simferopol. Donna, give us an idea as to why this is significant.
Hi, Monita. Well, it's significant because it would appear that selective flights literally...
Donna, thank you for that. Donna Magny there live for us from Simferopol in Crimea. Just an idea of the escalation of the crisis there. You are watching CNN News Center. I'm Monita Rajpal live at CNN Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us. CNN Newsroom with Max Foster is next.